Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Please reach out to me directly. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com. Today, we're discussing a 2020 model year release from Breitling. This is the Premier B25 Datora. Recalling a name from the 1940s, it's a watch that sits somewhere between dress watch and sports watch, both in size and in overall ambiance and capability. A difficult watch to categorize. It's large at 42 millimeters in diameter by 15.6 millimeters thick, 50 millimeters from lug tip to lug tip, and 22 millimeters between the lugs. Now, the watch is automatic loomed and 100 meters water resistant. It's also large, which makes it sporty, but as you can see, it has the overall style and character of a dress watch. So we'll throw it on my 16 centimeter circumference wrist and try to get a look at how it wears. Now, the further from the camera I am, the better the perceived fit. It's really not as huge as it looks when I'm right up next to the lens. All the same, I would recommend this for a wrist of 15 centimeters circumference or greater. It's also relatively thick. Despite a plexi-like cambered sapphire, it's probably not going to fit underneath the tightest of dress sleeves, though a jacket should be just fine. Taking a quick look, the strap is high grade, thick and bolstered to give it volume. Large rectangular scale alligator leather. It's dark brown. It's a gloss finish. It's got a monotone stitch. You can see on the underside it has a bright calfskin leather, and this is a brand new Breitling strap, which you can see is neither crimped nor gouged, and it comes luxuriously fitted with a full deployant clasp. You can see a single fold deployant with trigger release, and then the exterior buckle has a combination of satin and polish. Taking a quick look at the case, it's familiar. This is the Premier we've known for about 3 years now, and as you can see, it has Art Deco inspired strakes on the side, lovely tapered integrated lugs. There's a little wraparound bevel at the edge of the lug that starts at the mid case, then expands and wraps around the tip. The lug hoods are polished. The pushers for the chronograph are vintage-inspired, lozenge-shaped, satinated on their outer face, and then polished on their sides. We also have a lovely, sharply knurled crown for easy winding. The watch does have a very shallow conical bezel, and you can see it's double-stepped. There's the primary conical portion, and then it steps up one more time next to the crystal. The crystal is a sapphire, so it's highly scratch-resistant, but it has the dramatic bowl-like camber of a vintage plexiglass and even a little bit of the distortion. So that's the idea. That's what they're trying to achieve. There's a tachymeter scale outboard, so you can use the chronograph along with the tachymeter scale to gauge speed. A tachymeter gauges speed, a telemeter gauges distance, and of course a pulsometer gauges pulse. The watch does include a hacking or stop seconds function. The dial features applique Arabic numerals and rose gold syringe style hands to match. Now, the dial is not purely white or silver. You can see that the day and the month discs are white. The rest of it's a little bit of an off-white, almost a bit of a eggshell cream. It's slightly ecru. It's not perfectly silver. There's a little bit of an underlying color and warmth to it. Now, you can see that the primary dial is matte finished, but then we have a concentric pattern in the sub-registers. We have our constant seconds, we have our chronograph minutes, and you will note that the chronograph minutes feature hashes for 3 minutes, 6 minutes, and 9 minutes, because back in the 1940s, that's how long-distance phone calls were commonly billed every 3 minutes, so that would have been there to aid you as you time your expenses. Now, the watch includes a moon phase with a coaxial date indicator. It is a triple calendar with a moon phase. And you could see that the watch is powered by a movement that Breitling calls in-house, but in truth, this is definitely not. This is a 990001 by Concepto in COSC chronometer spec. Now, the case is 100 meters water resistant, and you can see that the case back itself has a bubble-like camber. It's a dramatically domed sapphire to fit the movement. So what a Concepto 990001 is, it's Concepto's version of the Valjoux 7750, which is so old that all the original patents and copyrights no longer apply. You know it's a Concepto because there's a big C on the movement, but also because they have their distinctively shaped eccentric screw micrometric regulating organ. 32 joules, automatic winding with unidirectional winding action. It's got a 48-hour power reserve. It has stop seconds, though the calendar system, as you can see, I'll demonstrate the calendar system right here. The calendar system has a quick set for the moon phase, as well as for the date. and then the remainder can be adjusted using the push register that adjusts the day. The month is adjusted by rapidly advancing the date. So the 48-hour power reserve is a little bit more than a standard 7750, which is usually about 42 to 44. This beats away at 28,800 vibrations per hour, and one major upgrade that Concepto makes is the addition of a column wheel where the cam would usually be. So you get much crisper column wheel feel here rather than a cam feel. Cams can feel a little indistinct, whereas a column wheel is really the gold standard for chronograph pusher feel. Also, because it is based on the Valjoux 7750 architecture, it's a little known fact outside watchmaking circles that the 7750 uses an oscillating pinion, which is an upscale feature that's often found in tandem with a column wheel on very expensive movements, such as the FP Journe chronograph monopoussoir rattrapant. You can see as I start the chronograph, if I push and hold the trigger, there is no jump. It's not like a conventional lateral clutch. It isn't a vertical clutch, but because the oscillating pinion has so little play in it, there's no jump to the start of the chronograph seconds hand. So that is a distinct refinement of the underlying architecture. So you get a column wheel with an oscillating pinion, and finally it is adjusted and timed in 5 positions as a COSC Swiss chronometer, so it passes that bar for accuracy and precision. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchasing and pricing details of this Breitling B25 Datora.